Sami Elhajjeh is a rookie councillor on the Clarington Municipal Council. He represents Exit 425, which is Courtice and a few more communities, or officially Ward 1. He works for the provincial government by day and for the council whenever he has to, and still gets around to support his kids in their various activities around town. Today's guest at Exit 425.
In the main corridor of Exit 425.
Local politicians to connect with families.
What are some unique challenges?
Thanks very much, Steve, for having me.
Exit 425. It's where we live. Welcome back, Sami. I shared my thanks with the mayor, but we'll extend it to you as well for helping to get female hockey players in Clarington more access to the Toyota Arena at Garnet Rickard, considering going over there to watch the team I used to work with tonight play an important game.
Yeah, no, it was something, from a equity and diversity, point of, the municipality is always pushing for that. And, having having two young hockey players, I know the importance of the excitement of being on that main ice. So, I was proud and happy to get that done for the Clarington Flames and some of the other organizations. And happy to be here on your show. As you know, I'm always accessible and happy to help when I can.
What's the most surprising skill you've either developed or enhanced in your 2 years so far on council?
Yeah, so I think it's more of an enhanced. I'm 44 years of age. I've worked for over 15 years, so a lot of the skills I've kind of already had, but have nuanced and enhanced in a sense. And for me, it was patience. As you know, I work in government, and being in this role on council kind of shows you that government works pretty slow, and that was one of the main reasons for me running to be on council. I think I've brought a sense of proactivity to the position. And which I, completely attribute to my previous experience in public health, which kind of has molded me into thinking outside the box and thinking proactively, and also being able to prepare for situations and outcomes. Beyond that, time management. As you kind of alluded into the opening introduction there, I have a full-time job. And on top of that, I have a full-time job as a counselor, as your counselor. So a lot of people don't know this, but the council position is paid as if it's a part-time position, though it's a full-time position. So beyond that, as I mentioned, I'm working a full-time job, and time management is incredibly important. And it's kind of like been a bane in a sense, but it's also helped me in kind of maturing from that time management perspective. Like one of the main things that I feel that I'm still developing is public speaking. I've never really been a fan of public speaking, and I actually get quite nervous, similar to that Eminem song. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Right? There's I'm going to make a joke here. I guess there's no vomit on my sweater, but certainly I still get sweaty palms before public speaking. But yeah, surprisingly, it comes and goes depending on the situation, and yeah, it's something that I continually work on and strive to be better. But in all seriousness as well, one of the most important skills and ability is the ability to balance diverse perspectives, while navigating the conflicts that we normally deal with as human beings, and more specifically as a council member, right? You not only have to work with each member of council and staff, but you're also ensuring that you meet the needs of your family, the public, supporting constituents, and yeah, I think I've done a pretty good job in being a councillor, responding to and supporting, the residents of Clarington and specifically my ward. And at the end of the day, it's based all on customer service, and I think I think I'm pretty good at customer service.
That's excellent. I'll assume that you enjoy mom's spaghetti as well.
Yeah, my kids not so much, but I do love a good carbonara from time to time.
What do you wish you had more time for in terms of your council work? And we always want more time with our own kids and our partner, while most people want more time with their kids and their partner. But what would you like to be able to do more of, or be able to accomplish more quickly as a local councillor?
Yeah, so from a wish perspective, I guess I would love to spend more time with my family. You know, my parents are getting older. I have a special needs older brother, and I kind of wish I had more time with them, including my obvious, immediate family, my two kids and my wife. But it's all good. You know, they all know the sacrifices that I've made in my career, whether that's, my government day job or my counselor full-time job as well. And yeah, they're all in support of that. And are in support of me kind of, getting towards my goals. All jokingly aside, I kind of wish I had a doppelganger. Or a clone, as they say. But and imagine what the municipality would accomplish with two Sammys, right? I think we would accomplish quite a bit. But yeah, all joking aside, I think there's, well, not that I think, I know that there's many in the background who have helped support me, whether it's staff members, fellow colleagues, volunteers in the community, and especially my family. Yeah, and everyone is understanding of the sacrifice we make as councillors. So a big shout out to all of you who are listening, who have helped in any way imaginable to get me towards my goals and to make our community better. But yeah, with respect to accomplishing more as a counselor, I would like to see and have been trying to push the region for increasing the amount of serviceable land in our municipality. And the reason for that is just to offset the burden or the tax burden, specifically on taxpayers and specifically on property taxes. I wish we were able to also accommodate the full original build of the South Bowmanville Community Center with the previous costs. But obviously, as we know, unfortunately, due to inflationary pressures and so on and so forth, that those costs ballooned. But the aim is still to support our residents, throughout our community. Also, with all the development happening in Clarington, I would love to see more infrastructure projects be proactive and move quicker versus a reactive build it and then develop and then build it later on. But as we all know, we're at the hands of at the province or the region, so these bigger infrastructure projects, involve other hands as well. Another aspect that I've been working behind the scenes on is a Courtice BIA, a Business Improvement Association, which obviously, if you're unfamiliar, it helps, foster more of a community feel. And that's something that we're missing in Courtice that other bigger cities and communities within Clarington have, like Bowmanville, like Newcastle, like Orono. But on top of that, there are so many projects which are needed, which were previously ignored, and yeah, they're definitely on my radar, and I'm working very, very hard to make that happen.
That business group is a really good group of people too, and I was able to be out at one of the meetings. We'll be at future ones, but missed the second one, unfortunately. But it worked out for me. So,
Yeah, and for anyone listening who's part of the business community, we are continuing to have meetings. So if you missed the first two, don't hesitate, come on out and let's get this BIA going.
and the information for that is coming out through the Clarington Board of Trade, right?
Correct. Yeah, they've been great on helping and on helping move that along.
Excellent. Were all the roads surrounding a school property ever considered for the 30-kilometer zone? This is generally the 30-kilometer zone around the schools has come up in conversations a lot, and it's fodder on Facebook a little bit. So were all the roads around the school considered, or just the ones at the front of the building? And then what about the time frame for when those speeds apply? Any sense of that changing?
So as safety is a top priority for not only myself but also for other members of council. It was probably the number one most concern I heard at the door, and I think I've mentioned this previously, especially when we were starting to talk about the 30-kilometer zones. So as you know, we implemented the significant change by lowering the speed limits in the school zones throughout Clarington to 30, and the reason for that was to give parents more of a peace of mind and improve safety. And as a parent myself, that's obviously important because we tend to people tend to want to drive, but the intention to provide safety is there to expand walking and walkability, which improves health and so on and so forth. But with specifically the 30-kilometer zones in Clarington, they are in effect at all times. Outside of school hours, these areas still have parks, sports fields. People do rent the facilities, the school facilities as well, whether it's churches or pickleball leagues or other recreational leagues. So the times outside of the school zones are kind of moot because it's a community hub. Children gravitate towards schools to play, to enjoy the green space, to enjoy the outdoors, and it's something that we of council noted, but wanted to ensure their safety. Also, from the perspective of keeping students safe, these new lower speed limits are only focused on school frontages, which were previously designed or are currently designed, as community safety zones, and that's specifically where the Highway Traffic Act offense fines are doubled. So it's also a deterrent for those infracting on those regulations and speed limits. And as there's also other tools which we use to address safety concerns. And as you also know, and many who are listening probably are aware or unaware, but are hearing this for the first time, Clarington is currently undergoing a traffic study which will guide us in moving forward to create more safer roads, throughout Clarington. So, and that's on top of things that we've already done, as a municipality, whether it's implementing traffic calming signs, or those flex signs, or even improving safety through stop signs and other mitigation strategies like that. But just to note as well, police are actively involved from an enforcement perspective, and they tend to guide their resources where speeding is more prevalent. So we always support our Durham Region Police staff, and it's important to note to residents as well that if they do have any speeding complaints, that they could reach out to council or call the non-emergency line of DRPS to instill like a complaint.
And one of the benefits of not having set times for that speed limit to be in place, would be to create that good habit of making sure that people are slowing down, no matter what time of day that they're arriving. But if they're conscious of it, then they're certainly going to be conscious of it when the streets are lined with cars and the kids who are excited to either go to school or coming home from school are dashing around, and there'll be fewer safety issues that way. So
yeah, it's great for changing behavior, and that was like one of the goals, right? Because if we wanted to implement the changes in times and stuff, it would be more of a confusion than anything. And I know you mentioned in the question earlier, the fodder of Facebook. But since we're about 2 or 3 months in on the 30-kilometer zones, and I think people are used to it now. I haven't received any complaints since the initial trial of the 30-kilometer zone, or the installation of the signage. So I think people are used to it now, and we've changed that behavior, and we're continuing to improve safety.
The school board that I worked for had to go through a huge change in the student information system that was being used. And of course, everybody had all kinds of questions and concerns. And at one point, I just said, look, in 2 years from now, this isn't going to be an issue. It's just going to be what we're using. So all we have to do is get through the next little while. And so it will be with the 30-kilometer zone. People will just almost automatically turn up that street and slow down and get through that zone. So it's a great plan. And clearly, we can see from your answer, Sami, that this was not something that was initiated without a lot of thought. So with your new perspective from the inside, what can we do better than other communities as we continue to develop in Clarington, Courtice especially?
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm much of an insider. I'm just a local councillor, and trying to do my best to support our local residents. But we can always do better, and I know for a fact we've done some great things and to support the residents of our awesome community. We're currently the second lowest, if not lowest. We're currently the lowest, if not second lowest, for taxes in Durham and the GTHA. And also, as I mentioned previously, with my public health experience, putting my public health hat on, my priority on council is also to develop, complete sustainable communities, whether that's, integrating parks, trails, open green space into any future developments, which is obviously good for quality of life. Specifically with Courtice is great. We have one of the top employers with OPG, and the employment lands adjacent to OPG to support, the energy sector. And it feels good to know that by growing this area locally with good jobs, having complete communities with green space, retail, a beautiful future waterfront park. I'm having a direct role in supporting, our residents' quality of life. We all know that less commuting means more time spent with loved ones. So it feels good to do good things, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of years until the next election, and hoping to continue the positive growth of our awesome community.
On that note, one of those notes, and with a question that kind of made the mayor groan a little bit. Clarington has 35 kilometers of waterfront, 2 kilometers less than Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. Yet our waterfront access is limited to less than a third of that, and much of that is accompanied by no substantial park. We do have, as Jim Boat pointed out once to me very clearly, that the Samuel Wilmot Wildlife Area is spectacular and substantial. It's like 74 hectares. It's big. but there's no park like Lakeview Park or Victoria Park. And Clarington in Ontario has had a chance to stop development next to Darlington and establish an epic recreational park. How hard is council prepared to battle to stop the Grimsby on the Lake style of housing development that'll be going in there? And in our interview, the mayor sounded like it wasn't really even worth trying because of the Ontario Land Tribunal, and figured it was fairly inevitable, in fact.
Yeah, I can speak on that piece a little later, but you know, our community is and has been excited and looking forward to being able to utilize the waterfront and make the most of that waterfront. We've talked about it previously, but you know, the specifically the Courtice Waterfront is one of the last bastions of waterfront, right? When I look at other areas like, you know, Oakville or Mississauga, there is usually a mix of housing and park infrastructure. So I think in the future at this specific location, I think that's something that will happen. And I know, as I mentioned, you know, having spoken on this on previous podcasts, you know, I'd love to see, you know, a beautiful park, a nature trail that connects, you know, Oshawa to Newcastle, vibrant shops, cafes, and you know, an attraction that brings tourists and people to the Courtice Waterfront, right? You know, obviously there's a challenge with some of the provincial bills, you know, specifically Bill 23 and Bill 185 with respect to parkland dedication. But, you know, a lot of people are unaware of that. And I think the municipality has done a good job of educating and informing people of those impacts, you know, specifically to Clarington lands. And council, and myself included, has fought to maintain, you know, the previous level of parkland in order to support our residents, in order to support that quality of life. With respect to the with respect to the OLT piece, you know, as a lot of people are unaware of this as well. Like if as an example, if Clarington denies any application, the developer has the right to take us to the Ontario Land Tribunal. And at the Ontario Land Tribunal, they roughly have upwards of 97% and higher success rate for developers. So it's more advantageous for us as a municipality to stay in those discussions and to negotiate rather than the Ontario Land Tribunal just go over our heads and approve what developers, you know, want, right? And the whole goal here is to continue to support our residents while balancing the need to foster growth and development, as well as publicly accessible space, waterfront, and so on. And we're working hard on it. I know staff is working really hard to enhance the public access to the waterfront. And yeah, staff municipality as a whole is working hard towards that as well. We recently had the Parks Rec and Culture Master Plan, which showed that the number one priority from that plan was green space, parkland and green space. So we hear the residents, we know what they want, and we're trying to deliver that as efficiently as possible, of course.
Is that something that the MPPs ever had a discussion with you about? And even more directly, have they ever been asked to help acquire that land to it's a special piece of park?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I haven't been touted from Minister McCarthy's office specifically on this. I don't know if the previous MPP was ever asked. I'm not privy to that early negotiation or discussion previously. But talks with the current landowner and the municipality, along with Minister McCarthy, have been beneficial to any future plans here. And I do believe, from what I recall, from what I've heard as well, that the previous term of councils, and I don't know if it was the actual previous term or the term before that or the term before that, unsure exactly where, but the municipality at one point did have the ability to purchase the lands from the property owner, but unfortunately, due to budget constraints or who knows what, the municipality didn't have the money at the time. And unfortunately, we have to rely on money that we currently have rather than put the burden on taxpayers. So it's unfortunate, but we're doing our best, as you kind of alluded or mentioned in the opening frame of this. Me being a rookie councillor, even though I'm third year in, it's still something I'm fighting for and working towards.
Council is pretty small as urban councils go. I mean, it's Clarington's an urban rural mix, and but increasingly urban. So it is pretty small. But how do differences get resolved before they become irreparable?
Yeah, so good interview question. No, but in all honesty, it's all about communication. Being transparent, having regular meetings, talking about what the needs are in the community, and my community's needs. Courtice, Mitchell Corners, Enfield, Salina might differ from Bowmanville's needs, right? So it's important to have an open dialogue and open discussion with my other councillors and talk about where our needs could support each other. The other aspect is also listening to the community. I'm lucky enough where I'm always in the community, whether I'm at the Courtice Community Complex, working out, or I'm at the rinks with my kids, or out grocery shopping, and people are pretty honest when you're speaking with them, right? They tell you what is what's been positive, what you're doing right, and what you can do better on. So it's important to have that open communication and listening to stakeholders so that we can highlight those shared priorities. Also, I'll tout or I'll toot the mayor's hat a little bit. I think the mayor's done a great job in supporting the vision of his vision of Clarington, as well as our vision of Clarington, and also how we can work to get there. And you can probably attest to this. I think our council has done an immense job with the limited resources that we have. Another aspect is listening to committees. We have various committees throughout Clarington that tell us also what we need to do, what policy ideas we need to bring, and so on and so forth. So it's all about collaborating, working together, communicating, and emphasizing our shared goals.
And the idea that putting the needs of the community before the almost irreparable differences between council members is an important part of that, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's a lot of the decisions we make are not the decisions for ourselves. It's decisions we make to support our residents, right? And if those decisions are bad decisions, we hear about it. And if those decisions are great, we also hear about it. So it's great having that open communication and open dialogue with everybody.
And another good segue into that opportunity for people to share what they think of council. We're entering the last 2 years. We've entered them officially. The last 2 years of the municipal term, with a new vote on October 26, 2026. Somebody will do something really catchy with that, I'm sure. What is Sami Elhajjeh determined to accomplish before the next election?
Yeah, I think I've accomplished quite a bit as a rookie councillor. Actually, I'll segue into a kind of a funny story, but I've been stopped at as I mentioned previously, I've been stopped at the grocery store, the gym, throughout the community, and been given some positive, compliments on what I specifically have helped with and bring to the Ward 1, community. Um, and like I said previously, some have said that we've accomplished more in the last 2 years than the previous 2 terms of council, and that's obviously great to hear, and pushes me to continue to do more. And I know there's a ton of work still to do to make our community better and a better place to live, and raise a family, and I'm looking forward to that. Some of the things that we've done as a council in this term, the South Bowmanville Rec Complex, should be done by late 2026, and I'm happy that we got this straightened out, and that shovels should be in the ground by spring. The Zoolands, which will be amazing for not only our residents, but will be a great hub of tourist attraction as well, and also foster a sense of community with some of the potential art installations and such there. The various Clarington outdoor ice pads, one being outside of the Courtice Community Complex just down the street from me. And many are excited for this. There's a real buzz around the community, from seniors to parents of young kids, even adults who are afraid to go to rinks and learn how to skate. It's touching and exciting to see. And it's been a real positive, it's going to be a real positive amenity for the community. Happy that the expansion to the Courtice Community Center was extremely beneficial, and because that's one of the growing segments in our community, is one of the only gyms in that is owned by the municipality, and is a great hub for people of all ages. What else? You mentioned that we talked about the 30-kilometer speed zones, and what this council has done to improve safety. We've improved snow removal services, which hopefully we'll see some snow this year. But we are ready for it, and I'm happy that we work to make that more efficient. On top of what we've already done, I'm looking forward to the work we've done to support the hospital expansion, the GO train, the waterfront, which we talked about, the fire training center, which will help train emergency staff and keep residents of Clarington safe. And on top, one of the biggest priorities for me, especially going into the next election, is the expansion of South Courtice Arena. Nothing's been announced yet, but I'm working hard behind the scenes to get 2 more ice pads to South Courtice. And this will help, work with this will help, the South Courtice Arena become like a tourist hub and a sports tourism hub as well. So it's all things that I'm looking forward to and working hard to attain.
That's awesome. Santa Claus parade on the 7th and Christmas tree lighting on the 14th. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, everyone's excited. My kids are excited. The neighborhood kids are excited. As you know, it's a great event, and I'm happy I brought forward the idea. We were obviously missing something in Courtice, and residents and their children really, really, really wanted to take part in some local Christmas and holiday festivities. So there was a real need. And with the absence of the Courtice Santa Claus parade previously, but bringing it back, everyone's excited. And with the help of municipal staff, with volunteers and local community associations, we made that happen. And it's absolutely wonderful to see. The last tree lighting was a huge success. There were over 800 people there. There was no parking anywhere around. And in addition to that, there were local businesses also that came to last year's tree lighting. And it was a massive success. So I wanted to give a big shout out as well to the Courtice Community Association group, municipal staff, and all the volunteers as well who helped bring these events to life. A truly heartfelt thank you.
I interviewed Abigail Monaco a little while ago and had a great conversation about the Santa Claus parade, and it was a lot of fun. And it was a bit more of an eye opener about how much work goes into that, and the fact that this is a 12-month project and probably even a 13-month project to get the next year's parade off. And so there's a possibility I might be doing some announcing for that parade, and better yet, maybe even some live streaming of the parade right here on Exit 425. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. And hopefully, I guess it's a testament that you didn't get asked to be. Oh wait, I don't want to give this away for anybody, so scrap it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll just edit that part in.
I was going to say like Santa. I was going to say like at least you weren't asked to be Santa Claus. That was what I was going to say. But I guess you could technically. You got the gray hair.
I've got a lot of attributes of Santa, so there you go. Sami, thanks for meeting me here at Exit 425. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so I'm easily accessible. They can go to the municipality website and email me directly, or they can email me at S, E as in Echo, L-H-A-J-J, E as in Echo, H, at clarington.net. I'm easily accessible. I try to return all my emails within 24 hours. I'm a proud government employee, so customer service is always important to me.
There you go. That's awesome. Thanks again for meeting me here, and have a great evening.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, Steve, always happy to be here. Let me know when the next one is, and I'll come with my Christmas bells on.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Exit 425. Please like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. Our mission is to provide substantial information and education that goes where you want, because it's where we live. Exit 425 is a production of Studio 38 Audio, copyright 2024. My name is Steve Ray. If you have any questions or would like more information about Exit 425, join our Exit 425 Facebook group, like the Facebook page, check out Instagram, Medium, LinkedIn, X, and TikTok, or email me at exit425401@gmail.com. Exit 425. It's where we live.